Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Wise Guys Sports Betting Show right here on the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. And today I am joined by Mr. Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs. My name is Ross Benjamin, all three of us of picksandparlays.net. It's Tuesday, the 26th of March, and we got three NBA games we have today that we're going to discuss and give you free picks on. But without further ado, Sean, what goes it, my man?
Well, I gotta say, a little ho-hum first round NCAA tournament. No shocker if you follow me or the show here. Favorite's going to roll like that. I'm going to go 18-19 with a break-even kind of number. But it is what it is. We just move on to the next day. And more importantly, baseball is on Thursday. So I'm excited about baseball. I got a couple packages up already here on the.
Yeah, I understand you got a volume of games up already for Thursday in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I got 2-3 packs. I think I got 8 games total. So if you get a pass, you're going to get all those games. So what, you're going to get 8 baseball and have 5 Sweet 16s up for the week.
That's what I love about you, Sean. You're always treading lightly, you know?
I'm going to go, well, listen, bet size would be a little smaller, obviously. You got to, I'm way too many games to you can't just fire crazy amounts of money. You'll be, because the average person thinks like, oh, well, this guy lost yesterday, so he's going to win today. Or the first game lost, you win the second game. Well, you could go 0-2 and then win the night games, and you can't bet your bankroll like that. We've had many a show discussing how people like to just go on tilt and think somebody's due for a win or anything. A team is due for a win. That is not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this: if you like a lot of action, Sean's your guy. Having said that, strict money management and discipline is imperative when you deal with a volume handicapper, because Sean will tell you he'll go on streaks where he goes 25-6 and then he might go 6-20. He doesn't give out big favorites in Major League Baseball. So he's out for ROI, and Sean's the type of guy in Major League Baseball that could hit 50% and make you a ton of money just because of that. So, but at the end of the day, as opposed to dealing with myself or Jesse, who doesn't give you nearly the volume of plays, it pale in comparison actually to Sean, you might want to lower your per game bets in accordance to whatever your bankroll is because of the volume of plays you're getting. So there you have it. Jesse, I know that you like to tread water a little lightly at the beginning of baseball season like me, but again, we all have our different styles, and that's why we're all successful at what we do. But how are you, my friend?
I'll tell you what, Ross, I wish I treaded a little more lightly in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I got punished. It was punishing. It was very embarrassing for me, but I'm on the comeback trail. Posted the last 10, 12 basketball plays on my Twitter this morning. So we're back in the saddle. And actually, as of this morning, the good news, even though I did just admit that I got hammered in the first round of the NCAA tournament, back in the number one spot for NBA in 2024 at picksandparlays.net. So the news isn't all bad. And we're here to talk about NBA today. So forget about all those losses in the NCAA tournament.
There you go. Let's keep it positive, as we like to say. And so far, the NCAA tournament, not great, but pretty good. 9-6 for me at picksandparlays.net. I've given out 4 NIT picks. I've gone 3-1 with those. So combined NCAA tournament and NIT, I'm 12-7, which is good for 63%. And considering all the favorites that came through, I feel very fortunate in that regard, because I'm not a huge favorite type of player. I did have a nice underdog on Sunday with Texas A&M plus the 10.5 over Houston. They lose in overtime. So it's been a good start compared to a lot of the other guys in the industry that, again, the most successful guys in the industry, when all the favorites are hitting, they're not hitting at a high percentage. It's just the way it is. It's the chalks are coming in, the squares are doing well, and the sports books aren't. And guys like us, I would venture to say, when the sports books are doing good, we're doing good. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but that's exactly the way it is. So let's get to the meat and potatoes here. By the way, folks, 20% off any subscription plan, daily picks, multi-game daily picks, packages, I should say, over at picksandparlays.net by simply using the promo code Lenny. For those of you who are familiar with the site, know we're talking about Detroit Lenny, but all we need is Lenny. And let me just say this. Nobody circles the wagons like our producer, Mr. Detroit Lenny. All right, let's get to the NBA games that we're going to discuss today. Jesse, the Lakers and the Bucks. And the Bucks right now a 9-point favorite. The total in this game is 235.5. Take it away, my friend.
Buckle up, boys, because we're going to talk conspiracy theories. I know Sean loves a good conspiracy theory. Ross Benjamin, not so much, but let's talk about it. So the Lakers are coming off a 150-145 win over the Indiana Pacers. And after the game, Rick Carlisle says there were certain things that were impossible to overcome. The 27 free throw differential and the 17 foul differential. And that's about it. I'll leave it at that. And Rick Carlisle was obviously not happy. He's suggesting that there's some kind of conspiracy for the Lakers to win games and get LeBron James in the playoffs. And he's not the first one that said that this season. Let's look at the data, the numbers. This year alone, the Lakers are plus 420 in free throw disparity. That's number one in the NBA by a wide margin. The next closest team is the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 222. So that's almost double. The Lakers have almost double the free throw disparity as the Bucks. The Lakers are a 500 team. The Bucks are one of the best teams in the NBA. The Bucks win more games, which means at the end of all those games, they're getting sent to the free throw line 6 to 8 times. Where is this disparity coming from? It's boggling my mind. Let's look the last 2 years. The Lakers' disparity is plus 1,017. The next closest team, the New York Knicks, at plus 358. That's almost 3 times the disparity for a team that isn't even winning that many games. I don't know if you guys buy into conspiracy theories. I don't even know if you should call it a conspiracy theory. The fact of the matter is there's more money to be made with LeBron James in the playoffs than there is if he's not in the playoffs. And that's just the bottom line. Ratings, TV, money talks, and you know what walks, right, Sean? At the end of the day, LeBron's not going to play in this one. It appears to be a letdown spot for the Lakers and a revenge spot for the Bucks, who lost in LA earlier this month. The Bucks are 29-7 at home. They've won 6 straight home games. I like the Bucks to win this game, but I'll take them -5 for the first half.
So Jesse's going to take the Bucks -5 in the first half against the Lakers because he's saying that there's going to be a conspiracy in the second half to keep the Lakers in the game, and they're going to send them to the free throw line in an inordinate amount of times. If you're asking me about conspiracy theories, you're asking the wrong guy. And we don't have enough time on the show for me to go into that because I am not a proponent of conspiracy theories, especially let me finish. You'll have your time, especially in the professional game. So in any event, so Jesse likes the Bucks -5 in the first half, and Mr. Higgs, who's never been lost for words, he's a very patient individual waiting his turn to talk, as you could see. So we're going to give him his opportunity. Go ahead, Sean. Tell us what you think about conspiracy theories. And, there's 10 teams that make the playoffs in each conference. The Lakers are going to be playing in a play-in game, undoubtedly. And
I wonder why.
It would take a lot for a LeBron James-led team not to be amongst the top 10 in the Western Conference. Anyway, go ahead, Sean.
Ross, before Sean gets going, I got to tell you, you can't give him free rein to talk conspiracy theories. You got to specify he's only allowed to talk about this particular one. Otherwise,
all right. Thank you for that.
You got 60 seconds before we put the muzzle on you. So go.
All right. All right. So we'll just talk about this one. Flat Earth, Ice Wall, JFK. We could go on and on. And so, Russ, you just said, how are the Lakers going to make it a LeBron? Yeah, it's LeBron James and the entire referee crew behind him. I mean, if you don't think they want LeBron and Curry in a play-in game, I mean, these two clowns are like, oh, we don't need play-in games. And all of a sudden, your teams are in the play-in games.
Let me ask you a question Who's the number 11 seed right now as we speak in the Western Conference? And what's their record? I mean, if
the
anybody,
the Rockets are a half a game behind the Warriors right now, and 3 behind the Lakers.
okay, all right. Well, and the Rockets are red hot right now. Okay, go ahead.
So I went to Jesse here first half. Sure, I don't want to lay like a 9 or 10 with any real NBA team because of here comes a NBA. Everybody goes on a run, and in this case, you have a superstar on the other team, which Jesse's pointing out a 3-1 number basically that the Lakers are going to get foul calls for them, whether they're winning the game or losing the game. But after a coach wants to say something like that, I think the safe bet would be just the Bucks all the way, because they're going to probably adjust and maybe not call any fouls today, and LeBron will be flopping like usual and say, "Oh, we only got 11 foul calls today. Yesterday we had 47. What's the something's wrong here. They're doing us dirty." So I'm with Jesse on the Bucks here. Go ahead, Jess.
I do have a follow-up. So I was meant to say this earlier, actually. So twice previously, coaches have called out the Lakers and the NBA for the disparity. High profile, you guys are probably well aware, Darko Rajovic for the Raptors got fined for saying this is a joke, and the disparity in that game was 36-13. The very next game for the Lakers, they lost by 19 to Phoenix, and the free throws were about even. Lakers were +2. Same thing happens 2 weeks later in that game against the Warriors that went to double overtime. LeBron won it at the free throw line at the very end. The disparity in that game was 43-16. Oh, that's just shocking.
That was on the road, right?
That was on the road in Golden State. Their next game,
90 free throws in LA.
Their next game, they lose 135-119 against Houston, and they were only +1 in free throw disparity. So both previous times that a coach has called them out and the media has reported on it, they've gone from a +20 disparity to a +1 or +2 disparity. So
when
that was one of my angles.
LeBron was in Cleveland, guys. That same conspiracy theory didn't hold up because Cleveland's a smaller market and LA is LA.
Because LeBron was
because he was 32 years old and he was good enough that he didn't need the help back then. Probably
they were winning. They were 55-20 instead of 42-48.
And LeBron isn't amongst the best of all time in getting to the free throw line since he came into the league at 18 years old, let alone at what his age is now. I mean, the guy, you got to give a little credit to the fact that the guy gets to the basket and gets fouled a lot. I mean, he's definitely a key element there in the free throw disparity. But I read an article just as recently as yesterday, and it pertained to this particular topic. And yeah, I mean, as a NBA head coach and as a franchise that is on the short end of these free throw disparities against the Lakers, you have to speak up. You have to.
But here's the thing:
it's a conspiracy theory because you want to implant that in the league and the referee's mind. And
LeBron went to the line 8 times yesterday. Anthony Davis, who's a 7-foot center, went to the line 5 times. Austin Reeves and Dinwiddie went 21 times to the line.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Another guard. Listen,
yeah,
I'm not watching.
Those guys are pretty much perimeter shooters.
I said I'm not watching these games, but I know for a fact these guys are more outside shooters. So
yeah, you're right.
You have 3 guys who shoot from the outside going to the line. If you put Cam Reddish in there 30 times,
yeah.
Do the Pacers just what? Is this like you're playing double dribble as a kid and just doing reaching fouls the whole time? I mean, come on with that.
Yeah. I hear you. That's a great point.
If LeBron had 27,
I can't argue that point whatsoever.
Or Anthony Davis had 19, it'd be one thing.
Right.
No, you have 3 guards that aren't LeBron James.
Not to say Dinwiddie and Reeves don't take the ball to the hole on occasion, but I would venture to say that 80% or more of their shots come from 15 feet out. They're perimeter players. But so point well taken.
One more point, Ross. There's 30 teams in the NBA. 29 of them average between 20 and 25 free throw attempts per game. The disparity's not that much. They're all sort of in that sweet spot in the 21, 22, 23, 24 free throw attempts per game. So for one team to have double the disparity when every team is right around the low to mid 20s, that just doesn't add up. Doesn't add up to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but it's certainly a concerning point for the NBA when you see that. Now, I mean, how much could it be attributed to the Lakers' style of play is another story, but it's definitely worth mentioning. And it's definitely, and Sean makes a good point. In the last game, LeBron just got to the free throw line 8 times, and 2 perimeter players get there a combined 21 times. So there's definitely something that needs to be take a closer look at there. And if I'm a general manager, if I'm an NBA head coach, like I said before, I'm certainly bringing it up in the media because I just want to implant that in future games in the referee's head more than anything. So they have to be cognizant of that. And listen, everybody's human, right? Referees included. So let's see how that affects how they call future Lakers games. In any event, with all that being said, Jesse likes the Milwaukee Bucks minus the 5 as a first half bet over the LA Lakers. And Lord help us all, because it's time for Sean Higgs to talk again. And he's going to take a look at the Pelicans and Thunder game. And right now, as we speak, OKC is a 1-point favorite, 223.5. 2 very underrated teams. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, and it's weird because both of these teams are pretty darn good, better than the Lakers we were just talking about. I mean, if you want to talk record-wise and how teams actually play, this line was a little different last night when I got the game. So Pelicans were favored. The line was 225. And I'm like, oh, sign me up for this under. And it's come down. I still like the under. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think Jesse said it in the show, maybe it was last week. He was talking about here comes unders in the NBA. We're talking about it after the All-Star break. It was like over. Well, here comes 10 games out. Let's start playing some defense. We got to get ready for the grind of, our playoff series and this and that. Both of these teams hot coming in. I think both are 8-2 or 7-3. Yes, flat Earth, absolutely. Ice wall, the whole thing. We got people living, lizard people. I'm all for any kind of wacko thing. I'm always for the underdog. So of course, I'm going to be for conspiracy. Yes.
Yeah. You should apply for the national team coach for Antarctica. You'd fit right in. Go ahead.
Yes, Antarctica. That's the only. We got to bring up the. I think. Well, anyway, we'll talk about the Antarctica. We're not allowed to go there to get through to the other continents. Anyway,
and so your pick is under.
I'm going under again.
Under
both
2.
teams. I think they're 8-2, 7-3. Both though 7-3 to the under their last 10. Which, again, Jesse had talked about this last month in the All-Star break. As the season progresses, it's not a free-for-all. It's time to buckle down. Let's get ready. I think that each team has about 9-10 games. We got 2 weeks left. Give me the under here. It's come down. That's prove it to me. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's proving to me that I'm on the right side here, going under the total. That's a fact. It's 225 to 223. It's a fact.
So Sean's throwing us a curveball by stating a fact and not his opinion in his, his delusional state that he gets in once in a while when he starts telling us about the JFK theories and all that kind of stuff.
He's definitely.
Anyway, well, here's my philosophy, Jesse.
I mean, you were around. Listen, Ross, you were there when Lincoln got shot. You were old enough to you read that in the paper when it came out back in the day. Come on.
Yeah, me and John Wilkes Booth. I hung around with John Wilkes Booth's son. He told me
he
read
that in the printing press back.
So
he came across on a horse. Oh my goodness! There's bad news from Washington.
Never get old with you. Anyway, Jesse, here's my philosophy. Now we get back to talking about sports betting instead of John Wilkes Booth and Abraham Lincoln. When it gets down to the final 15 games or so of the regular season, here's what I like to look at. You guys know I love my totals, right? And I've used this for several years now, and there's nothing foolproof. There's nothing that's a no-brainer theory, but I like to seriously look at teams like what you just described, the Thunder and Pelicans game, which is 2 teams that are going to be part of the postseason. They might even be a first-round matchup for all I know. And they have a lot to play for. I like to look for a reason to use unders in those types of games. And on the other side of the coin, and this is more where I'm apt to go, is you have 2 teams that are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs facing each other in the final 10 to 15 games of the year. Or 2 teams, even if they're not mathematically eliminated, 2 teams for all intent and purposes are realistically not going to make the playoffs, barring something extremely unforeseen. They're still mathematically alive, but it's the chances of that happen are less than 1%. So I like to go over in those games because there is a lack of defensive intensity, number one. Number two, teams play a little more looser. And number three, it resembles more of an all-star game type of atmosphere, even though they're bad teams. What I mean by that is more of an up and down style, and guys trying to pad their stats and gain incentives in their contract, and also try to lobby for, if they're a free agent, to up their statistics or to get a better contract the following year, whatever the case may be. So that's my philosophy, Jesse. Anyway, I'm not asking for your philosophy, and I certainly am not asking you to talk about Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth, but what do you have to add to that?
Well, I'm going to give you my philosophy, Ross. I think along the same lines as you. After the All-Star break, the last 15 games or so, teams that are fighting for spots, particularly teams that are on the cusp, teams that are facing must-win games, I like to bet unders in those games. And I do agree that teams that are already out of it tend to play higher scoring games, but I will add just one caveat to that. You got to be careful with some teams. For example, I bet the under in the Raptors game the other day, and the reason for that being they're playing with like a G League lineup. I mean, they don't have any of their starters remaining in the lineup. They got just bench players, role players, guys that are borderline NBA players, and those guys obviously don't have the skill, don't shoot for as high of a percentage beyond the arc, and they don't have the moves to rack up the points that bona fide NBA starters have. Another example of that would be the Portland Trail Blazers. A couple weeks ago, all their starters were out. They got guys that have played 28-year-old rookies that have been bouncing around Israel and Australia and playing pro basketball in the Middle East and stuff like this. Seriously, this guy named Reith that's playing in Portland right now is come out of nowhere to earn himself potentially an NBA contract. Anyways, when the lineups get down to the nitty-gritty like that, it's hard for them to put up the same kind of points as you do with the first-round draft picks that can shoot the ball a lot better and have a lot more moves.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy, Ross.
It's pretty much aligned with mine. And you can't no-brain your way through it. And Jesse brought up a perfect example, Toronto. If they're playing a team they're realistically or mathematically eliminated from a playoff spot, look how anemic they've been offensively just over their last 7 or 8 games. If I'm not mistaken, they've gone a string of games now where they've scored less than 100 points. It's been going on for a few weeks now, or a couple weeks at least. So good points, Jesse. All right, let me get to my game. And again, Sean likes the Thunder and Pelicans under 223, excuse me. And Jesse likes the Milwaukee Bucks minus the 5 as a first half bet against the Lakers. And he cites the fact that he doesn't want to leave himself open to a conspiracy theory in the second half where the Lakers get sent to the free throw line several times. So that's basically his main reason why he did that. Anyway, all right. So now I'm going to take a look at the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings game at Sacramento this evening. And again, we got 2 teams that are going to be part of the postseason and have played a lot of low-scoring games of late. I mean, Dallas has gone under in their last 4. Combined total of 215.5 points per game scored in those 4 contests. And it's not like the total was low. Those 4 contests had an average total of almost 236. So they're going way under the total. Sacramento, by the way, their last 8 games when they've had a total of 218 or greater, they've gone under in all 8. Also, this is a Kings team that we talk about the Kings. If you think about them, the first thing comes to your mind is the Kings are explosive offensively, but their major downfall last year and in prior years was, they're exciting to watch offensively, but defense is an afterthought. Well, that's not been the case recently because the Sacramento Kings have allowed 109 points or fewer in each of their last 9 games. And by the way, Dallas, not too bad themselves. They've allowed 105 or less in 6 of the last 7. Now, Jesse will say, Ross, It opened at 237.5. It's down to 232.5 or 233.5, depending on where you look. I lost value there by going under by not getting down early. And there's that talk about truth. That is a fact. But I'm not going to let that scare me away because I'm going to go Dallas, Sacramento under the total of 232.5. Sean?
I want to look at just taking the Kings out of side here. Now, I think they're 6-7 in the playoff fund, so they're if you're jockeying for position 6-7, whatever. But the Kings play up to the better named teams. I mean, look, you're losing to the Wizards, you're losing to the Rockets, but you're beating the Lakers and the Bucks and the Nuggets and these teams. And here come the Mavericks, and you have two good players in my half brother, Flat Earth Kyrie, and Luka. So this is a spot for me. I'd look to take the Kings here at home on a short number. They play up to the competition. They play down to the competition, which is why they're a 500 type team here. I shouldn't say 500 type team. They're 8 games over 500 at home, but they play up to the better teams. They've proven that, so I like them there in that spot.
Yeah, well, again, the Kings head scratching 5-4, just 5-4 straight up in their last 9 at home, and they're facing the Dallas team that's 7-1 straight up in ATS in their last 8, playing real good ball right now. Both teams playing real good defense. Jesse, what's your take here?
Yeah, this fits the bill for a game that you want to be on the under. Both these teams flirting with the play-in. Neither one of them nobody wants to be in a play-in game if you got a chance to be in a 7-game series and have, you got to lose 4 games instead of just lose 1 game and you're out of there. So I would expect this to have playoff-type atmosphere and playoff-type defense.
There you have it. Dallas, Sacramento, under 232.5. Jesse Schule, the Bucks, -5 as a first half bet over the Lakers. Mr. Higgs, he likes the Pelicans and Thunder under 223. Folks, there's a like button right underneath, and it would go a long way. First of all, it would make us happy. We deeply appreciate it if you hit that like button. But secondly, it goes a long way in continuing these types of programs here on Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. So we would appreciate it if you hit that like button. But Jesse's going to tell you further with emphatic fashion what you should do with the like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's just a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort we put into bringing you a quality podcast here once a week. Every Tuesday going forward. So, and Sean will also tell you that they should subscribe, right, Sean, to the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel?
Yes. We got sports and conspiracy.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button, folks. It's absolutely free to do so. And while you're at it, go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel, and you will be notified immediately upon any of the content from all the handicappers going up right here on this channel. For Sean Higgs, Jesse Schule, and Ross Benjamin, we'll see you next week, folks. Take care and God bless.